No, I will. Printed multiples. I lose them all. How's that? Is that good? Well, thank you all for coming. If you don't know me, I'm Ryan Davis. I'm the student leader here at College Avenue. And we joined forces with Whit Baptist, Oasis, to go to M3 camp. And thank you all for coming. The camp's so important just for us kids to get out in the summer, go have fun, most importantly, but also have an awesome environment that's just surrounded by God. And we get to spend 4 days in the mountains, away from society, away from distractions, away from technology, hopefully, and just completely surround ourselves with scripture, learning, and just developing an awesome relationship. And that's our goal for myself and our leaders, is to take your kids into a distraction-free Christian world to completely build a foundation built on Christ. So if you didn't know, you're here for a reason. This is the parent-student meeting that we always do at the beginning or really close to camp, where I think we're a couple weeks out. Their dates are July 15th through the 19th. And if you didn't know, we are going to Glorietta again. This will be, I think, was it our 5th year going to Glorietta? It's just an awesome camp. We love the structure. We love how many kids are all there for one purpose. I think my first year I went, there was so close to 3,000 kids. That was the biggest camp that was the first camp I've ever been to. I didn't go when I was little. My first camp I went to was when I was 30 years old. It was awesome. I got hooked. But through M3, that stands for Moment, Mission, and Movement. That's what camp's all about. We live in that moment. We give us that mission to go make Christ known all across the world. And then we live for that moment. So within that camp, there is a specific set schedule each day. It's fun, and it's very structured. We have morning worship, we have breakouts, we have rec, then we also have evening worship. And everything has an awesome foundation on Christ. They're learning from one another. They're learning from some are college professors that come to our breakouts, from Dallas Baptist, from all across, all the way to Houston. We fly people in from Oklahoma for this camp. Everyone I've met through the 5 years of going has just been great. They love kids. They all have a background of youth ministry, and they just love doing what they do. So if you haven't picked up some sheets, there's 4 papers in the table in the middle. You will need those. There's 2 that I need signed, all your information on it. That's our travel, our photo release, medical release. That's for us as a church. That's us for Oasis Church. That's for Whit Church as well. That just covers us in the event that we have to take your kid to a hospital for anything. We pray that never happens. However, that did happen to us last year. So we have experience in that. Woo! Right? I don't want to do it again. But it does happen. Our student, she's good now. But it made camp very exciting for us. Very late nights for several nights in a row. But other than that, have those signed, filled out, and handed back to us. The other sheet is a cell phone policy, but we'll go over those in more detail here in just a second. There's a couple things I want to hit real quick. There's a prescription medicine policy within Glorietta camp. If your kid is bringing medications, and some of the, including over-the-counter drugs, are also hit on this list. But if they take a prescription medicine during our week at camp, I have a form up here with me that needs to be filled out. And if we need to wait till we get closer to camp, that people go to the doctor within 2 weeks. But if that's the case, we need that sheet filled out because we have to turn in that medication and this sheet on, it gives you the dosing, the medicine name, all on that sheet. And we have to turn that in to the nurses at camp. And that's just to keep everybody safe. We don't want medicine being taken by anybody else except for your student. No student needs to be carrying their own medication unless previously clear, and that kind of falls into inhaler. And if you as parents are going as sponsors, you can do that as well. So if you don't have any other questions on medical, if you do, we'll have a Q&A here in a minute, so just wait and ask questions here in a minute. But I want to take this moment to introduce our leaders. I'm Ryan Davis. I said I'm a student leader here at College Avenue. I've been here for about, 5 years in this role. I've been going to this church since I was 9 years old. And my wife, Bailey, she's everything that I'm not, which is awesome because I'm not a whole lot. She does games, she does ideas, she's got everything else that I mess up or forget. Other sponsors, Miss Jamie Kristanek, Miss Chelsea Dobervani, and then you have Leah and Ty Gray. They've graciously decided that they want to come and spend another week with all of you. So make sure you tell them thank you. Where's Tamara? Oh, there's Anna back there. She's going this year. We're excited. It's your first year. You ready? Perfect. Then Miss Tamara Patterson back here in the back. She's going as well. Tamara's from our church. She's our Kingdom Kids leader. She does everything children here, and she's awesome at that. So good luck trying to wrangle in teenagers. But let me invite Chelsea up here. She's going to go over a couple of areas. One, you don't have a sheet on, but I've sent a link out. She's going to go over this. It has to do with the waiver that you have to have filled out for Glorietta. And then she's also going to go over the travel itinerary, which you have that handout sheet. So, Ms. Chelsea.
How awkward and professional and tall. Okay, well, we're so excited. I know some of our kids aren't here today, but 48 of y'all, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I have another question for him later, that we don't lose anybody. Okay, so I'll explain it because I was confused the first time we went to camp because there's like a lot of waivers, okay? I think there's 3 different ones you have to sign. So I think y'all already all did the one for M3, and that was Jamie sent that out to y'all to sign up for camp and get on the official list. So M3 are the people putting on the camp. They are from Southern Baptist of Texas. They're based out of Dallas. They put on the camp. They do the curriculum. They have the music. They do all that kind of stuff. And the second waiver is for Glorietta. So Glorietta is just the venue. It's just the event space. So it's a completely separate thing. M3 is paying Glorietta for us to come. So that's why they need their own thing signed, because we're in their dorms, we're on their land, we're at their swimming pool, lake, on their equipment, all that kind of stuff. So they need their own waiver. And that's the link that he sent out on GroupMe. So has everybody done that already? Anybody have not done the Glorietta waiver? Or you don't know? Signed up? Okay. So if you have your phone, parents, get on the GroupMe that says parents. And I'm just going to show you where it's at. It's super easy. It's just we have to do it. And today would be great. If you'll scroll up all the way back to May 29th is when it was sent out. Are y'all doing it? Are y'all looking? Yes. Okay. Yes. You already did yours. So if you click on that link and it takes you to glorietta.org and it's going to look like this. It's a Glorietta website. You're registering for SBTC M3 2025 with Ryan Davis. That's what it should say. And I've already done it, so mine might look a little different than yours. But you do your email and your password. And if you forgot your password, just click Forgot Password. And then, so I've already done it. So my kids already show up there. But if you haven't done it yet, it'll say add a kid, add a family member, I think is what it says. So just go through the prompts that it tells you and do, if you have multiple kids, you'll do it again. Add another family member. And this is also the same place where you're gonna put money on their account. So it says camp credit right there. And I have not done this yet, but it shows your family and it shows where you can put money. So this part is very important because you can't use cash at camp. So it's all cashless. You can use a Visa card. I know some people are gonna take like a Visa card. Don't put a lot of money on it in case we lose it or something gets happened. Don't put a lot of money on it. I recommend this because it worked out really well for us last year. And you can put 10, 20, however much money. But this is how they're gonna buy snacks. If they want, we're taking snacks, but if they want a snack from the snack bar, there's a coffee shop, there's like ice cream, popcorn, and there's a whole gift shop of t-shirts and stickers and sweatshirts and, you know, all the trinkets we really, really need. They're there, but they're cashless. So, and to pay for this when you're at camp, like they're at the register and they ask for the kid's name and their birth date. And that's how they get access to their money. So that way other kids aren't using their account. And then at the end of camp, if you didn't use all your money, at the very bottom when you scroll down here, it'll ask you, what would you like to do with your extra money that was not spent? You can donate it to Glorietta or you can get it refunded. So it asks you that on here too. Yes. Yes.
Well, in my
Yes.
last 2 years, I did 50. I'm trying to think, that way my kids could get like a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, and then that was drinks and snacks, and that was plenty. Like, they did not run out. And even at the end, we were like, go spend your money. Like,
Yeah.
like go
Right.
stock up on snacks and drinks. So they had plenty.
Yes.
And they have like Dippin' Dots. I mean, like
Yeah.
ice cream, and these are like in the evenings.
And it's not necessary because we're taking snacks and drinks. Like they don't have to. This is extra. But a lot of them do enjoy it late night, like 10 o'clock after we're done with the session, they'll go get a Coke, you know, and it's like a cool hangout thing. So it's a social minute. Okay? So does everybody see that and understand or have questions about this waiver or the camp credit or anything? Yeah, we'll help you.
And I can, I'll find that and I'll reshare it so it will be, because our
Okay.
friends that are not here are gonna have to
Fine.
do that.
Yeah, let's do it again that way, because it was on May 29th
Okay,
where
I'll
that was
reshare
at. Okay. Awesome.
Look at the list of who's filled it out, because I'm not on the group, maybe Bridget is, so I don't know if she did it yet or not.
Of who's filled it out and who hasn't? Okay. When the link does get sent out, you can sign on and it'll tell you if you've registered or not. So, okay. Okay, next.
It don't matter, I mean, Bridget just couldn't make it.
Okay, yeah.
When I get back,
Okay. Okay, so if y'all would just do that today, that way it's taken care of and nobody forgets and we can check it off the list. That would be really great. Okay, the next thing on my list is the itinerary. So you picked up this sheet at the front and we're just gonna go over it real quick. If y'all have questions, just let me know. But we have never taken this many kids. So I'll just tell you, already a God thing, and we haven't even gone to camp yet. The 48 spots is what we needed. With our sponsors and their vehicles, it added up to 48 spots. So I just think it's so awesome. Like, these kids are supposed to be there, and it's just all working out like it's supposed to already. So that just makes me really excited. Okay, so July 15th is the Tuesday. We're leaving this church. We're going to be here at 8:30 to pray and get in the cars and all of that. And the goal is to leave at 8:45 And Ryan, I love him. He was only 4 minutes late for starting the meeting. So we're gonna leave by 8:49, okay?
And, we have a trailer, so.
Yes.
I mean, I know it takes a lot of room, you're packing towels, sheets,
Yeah,
clothes, all the things.
Yeah.
Pack in a big bag, some camps pack in like tote.
yeah, if you want to take a container and a suitcase, so don't stress about the luggage because we do have a big trailer. So all the luggage is going in a trailer with the snacks and the drinks and the suitcases and coolers. So we have a trailer for everything. So the cars will really just be full of kids. Okay, before you come that day, make sure they get a good breakfast in them. And then, okay, we're gonna leave at 8:45. It's a 4.5 hour drive, so we have some stops already planned. We're gonna stop in Clovis to go to the bathroom and a little bathroom break. And I bring a little bit of cash if you want a drink or a snack at the convenience store, because they love to get convenience store treats. Oh man. And don't worry, last year we had to control some kids that were about to spend all their money at the first convenience store stop.
On a
Like,
construction
no.
hat.
No, we're not spending $30 in Clovis, okay? We're not spending all our money at the convenience store. But I get a snack and a drink, whatever. And then we have another stop for lunch at Santa Rosa, and we are asking everybody to pack a sack lunch to bring to eat at the park. There's basketball goals, so just a little stretch your legs, play a game, eat your lunch, and really like a sack lunch in a brown bag or a Ziploc or something. That way we can throw it away, so we're not keeping up with 48 lunch boxes. It'd be great. And we have coolers. We're gonna put your sack lunch in there to stay cool. And then after lunch, we have one more stop at Klein's Corners to fill up with gas. That way, on the way home, where everybody's tank is full. And then we should arrive at Glorietta about 2:30. And then we check in, we get our dorm assignments, because we don't really know where we're staying yet. I've been praying for air conditioning. My prayer was not answered last year. So it could have been worse. So in case you don't get an air conditioning cabin, because there's not that many of them, bring a fan or multiple fans. We've learned fans are pretty priceless at Glorietta, because it's cool in the evening, but during the day it's very hot, and your dorm room can get hot. So we open up the windows and have the fans rolling through, so that helps a lot. And speaking of it's cool at night, I was just gonna mention, like in the sanctuary at night can be cool. Like there's vents in the floor, and if you're sitting near a vent, it's very cold. So we brought a blanket,
The Arctic, cold.
a sweatshirt. That's why they bought sweatshirts at the gift shop, because we got cold. So if you want to bring a little blanket and a sweatshirt, I am, because it gets cold in there. Just FYI. Okay, and so on the way home, they feed us breakfast at camp. Or I think when we stopped at Klein's Corner, I think the kids got a little breakfast there if you have some money extra. And then we plan to eat lunch in Milshoe on our way home, because everybody really wants chips and salsa after a week of camp food, right? Mm-hmm. And some queso. So that's our plan. Do what? Yeah, they've always been nice to us in the past. The Clovis, I think? Clovis, okay. Yeah, they're very nice. And it says need cash. So, I mean, I would safely $10, $15 probably is fine for lunch on the way back. And if you're worried about holding that cash or anything, leaders are welcome to hold that cash. Just put your money in an envelope with your kid's name on it. We'll hold it if you want us to, for the littler ones. And then we should get back to this church by 2:00. And we will be messaging along the way to let you know our progress and when we're back and all that. So I kind of just added up how much money you think the kids might need. So they need to eat breakfast that morning. They need to bring a sack lunch. And I thought about $30 they can get a small treat at the convenience store each time, and then lunch at Leal's. So about $30 just for travel. And that doesn't count whatever you want to put on their camp account on the online thing.
And again, which she's gonna go over, but we are taking snacks and drinks.
Yes.
if
Yeah.
Parents just want them to have that.
Yeah. So they don't have to have any of that. That's just a little extra if they want it. So, okay. Are there any questions about that? You have a question? Yes. It's we can't fish because we swim in it, so it's not safe to have all the hooks. But you can swim, you can jump off. There's cool slides. There's the zip line. You drop off in the water. It's so fun.
You have what they call a rec time, and that's kind of a organized, usually games, activities, challenges, and that's what you're gonna do as a group. And then you're gonna have free time. That's when you're gonna go hiking, swimming, doing all the things.
Or if you want to nap, that's your only chance.
What are those race cars that go down the hill?
Drift bike,
Drifting bike.
something like, there's,
Go down a hill. There's all kinds of fun things. Or to, as it gets towards the end of camp.
Okay, you're
you
next.
might take a nap. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of go over the camp packing list. One thing that was mentioned, I'm going to go back a little bit. Medications, if you do have medication you got to take, I need your kid to know what they're supposed to be taking. We don't need to have to call anybody and be like, what are they supposed to take? And I don't think anybody has like anything that's complicated, but if they do, just make sure your kid knows what they're supposed to be taking if we have to end up doing that and giving it to the nurse so that they can for sure look like, yes, that's mine. Just for any mistake or anything happen, just make sure that they know this is what they're supposed to be taking. Yeah. Yes. And we want to go back to the waiver too. That waiver has to be filled out. After this, we'll take a picture of who's filled it out. If it's not filled out, you can't go. That's just plain and simple. They will not let us go. You cannot get into the camp. So just make sure we get that specific Glorietta waiver filled out. So biggest thing, bring your Bible, of course. And if anybody doesn't have a Bible, please let us know. We will help and make sure. We want everyone to have a physical Bible. We don't want you looking on your phone. We want to have like the Word of God in your hands, which it's great to have your phone, but we want for this camp for you to have a Bible. So if you don't have one, just let us know and we will help you with that. It's great to bring a journal or a notebook just to take notes, pen, obviously Sharpie. Bring a backpack because we're going to be carrying our Bibles around and your water. You want to just carry it with you because sometimes depending on where we get as far as where your dorm is at, you may have to walk quite a ways to get back to your dorm. So it's easier just to put it all in your backpack and carry it around camp. That way you're not having to run back and forth to the dorm to get your Bible or anything like that. Because at rec, we'll be able to set our bags down, and that's perfectly fine. But at least have your water all the time because that's the big thing. We got to stay hydrated. Great to have a watch. That way you know what time it is when we have specific meetings and where you need to be. A hat, sunglasses, bring sunscreen, bug spray, a flashlight because we have late night hangouts. Water bottle is important. I recommend like at least having like a 40 ounce because you get thirsty. And if you have electrolytes, bring it in your backpack. I always carry electrolytes, so I'm going to have it just in case the kids, but we have had kids get dehydrated. And when we're in the mountains, it feels completely different. They do have water stations that you can fill up, but have a actual like metal water bottle. Super helpful so that we don't get dehydrated. The dorms that we sleep in, you can either bring twin size sheets if you want to, or a sleeping bag to be on top of, whichever one you want to, but they don't have that. We have to bring your own. Bring your pillow, a pool towel, a bath towel, washcloth. So you're basically like you're camping. You're bringing everything to come into the dorms. Bring deodorant, that's great, toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, shampoo, conditioner, comb, other toiletries. And then clothing for 4 days. So rec, sometimes in the past, but I haven't done it when I've gone because I've gone the last 2 years, they've gotten pretty muddy during rec. So sometimes just bring some extra clothes just in case. Even though it's 4 days, bring something just in case that you get wet or muddy if that's what they're going to do. The next thing, like they said, bring a light jacket, sweatshirt. It is very cold in the sanctuary, depending on where you're at. If we sit in the balcony, it's pretty hot. If you're down on the floor and you sit on top of that AC, you are freezing cold the whole time. So it's great to bring a lightweight jacket. And sometimes it rains. Sometimes we're out and it's sprinkling, because we did that last year and we were playing volleyball and it started raining on us. And then you get cold from that. Pajamas, undergarments, tennis shoes, and socks. Bring extra socks. Sandals, flip-flops are easy to wear if you're going to go down to the pool. That way you don't have to put on your socks and shoes. Then a swimsuit. Girls are required to wear a one-piece or a two-piece with a cover-up. The cover-up must be worn to and from the pool, and then boys wear swim trunks. T-shirt must be worn to and from the pool. So when you get in the pool, you can take that shirt off. But the girls, they have to wear the cover-up the whole time, right? Unless you have a one-piece. Then we also have theme nights. And so every night they have, after we do worship, and then we'll have church time, and then they do a fun night. So we're hanging out till like 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. The theme nights that they have is Western wear for Texas night, so bring something for that. Patriotic night. Glow sticks and neon night is another one that they do. So for those specific nights, we will change into something else after we go to the sanctuary. Some people go ahead and wear it whenever we go to church time, but they usually go back to the dorm. You have plenty of time to get ready and change into something that's themed. The other thing that we really like to do is rec colors. And so every day, like we're going to have breakfast, we'll have church time, we'll have breakouts, and we have rec. And it's easy for us to spot with this many kids to wear a specific color that day. And so we want you to I'm not a stickler on like if it's a light orange or dark orange, just that kind of specific color. Ryan says no burner orange, so sorry. But we do have our camp shirts back there. Our colors are orange, and we made it where we're bright, where we could see everybody, and we love those. So the first day on July 16th, which would be the Wednesday that we're actually at camp, they can wear their orange shirt, and that way it's easier to find them. Some people I had last year, like I wanted them to wear a color, and they wouldn't wear it to breakfast, and then they would have to run back to the dorm to change. So I'm going to say, please just go ahead and wear that color beginning of the day, and then by the time we're done with rec, you can go change, because you're going to be kind of stinky. We run around a lot. You can go change to do sanctuary stuff, but at least just have that colored shirt. You could still wear the same shorts, but just changing the shirt is helpful. But that way we're not having to lose track and waste time going back and forth through the dorm. So July 16th, orange. July 17th, we want red. And then July 18th, we want blue. And that just makes it so easy, because we could see a cluster of our kids, and we can find them easy if we need to, especially with as much as we have. And then it's fun for rec. A large trash bag for dirty clothes. It's easy just to throw those things in there. And we're wanting every family that's coming, every student, to bring a case of drinks and a box of snacks. That way, and it's going to be, y'all can pick your own snacks, and that way you like them as well. But we're going to have enough, because we have a lot of students. So we want to make sure and have a lot. One thing that we had last year, we brought like oranges, and Karis, you remember? So we did have a mouse in our dorm, and it ate our oranges, which is unfortunate. And so we'll hopefully have some coolers. We've started putting stuff in the cooler where it couldn't get it. But we came back, and it was like gone and like ate through the plastic. So if anybody brings like fruits and things like that, please just inspect the fruit and make sure that, because some of it went bad before we even got to camp. So make sure it's good. And then we kind of already talked about the medications again, like Ryan talked about. And then spending money, it's cashless. The one thing I wanted to talk about is they have a band that usually comes and they sell t-shirts, and then there's Project 1310. They will sell shirts, and last year they required Venmo or cash. And so it was separate than the camp. You couldn't use your camp money, which I know that's kind of complicated to think all of that. So they have cute sweatshirts, and they had t-shirts as well. And so if your kid's wanting to get, it just depends what you want to send. If you want to think about that, some of those shirts were probably $25 to $30 if you got a sweatshirt. So that's an additional fund if you want to bring, and if you bring cash for that, then obviously you can give it to any of us leaders, and we'll keep up with that until they need it. Because I know one of our students was like, I don't have either of that. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that, because they're separate from that. And then since we're just going over this, at the end, if you want to jot down so you have everything on this camping pack list, don't forget about your sack lunch when you're going. And then travel money, which was about $30, like Chelsea said. So that way you remember to bring those things. And obviously we want everybody to have a positive attitude, and then just a heart ready to learn for Jesus. We're super excited. we have not, this first year taking this many students, we have kind of quadrupled. The first year that I went, we took 3. Woohoo! So we are growing, and we're excited to have this many students to get to play and do rec with, because usually we're joining other churches, and now we get to join churches from our community and get to grow together and learn together. And so we're super excited about that and be able to come home and then pour into this community like we got to on Friday. So that was a fun evening of getting to do that, and those kids worked hard because we took that thing down in like 30 minutes, took the play set down. So, and they were very appreciative of that. So we appreciate y'all and excited that y'all are letting us to have your kids for a week, and we pray it's going to be awesome. So don't hesitate to reach out if there's any questions or if questions come up later. Yes?
One thing that I would add, depending on the dorm that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
you may have a shower or tub in your room that you share with your people in your room, but you may be in a dorm where you share your bathroom with the whole floor. So I suggest some kind of flip-flops, shoes that you can wear in the shower, Crocs, something that can get wet, something that you can wear to the bathroom in the middle of the night, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have them for the pool anyway, but we don't know till we get there, so you just kind of have to come prepared for any scenario.
Mm-hmm. So Leah's saying that depending on what dorm you get, sometimes you can have a dorm that has one bathroom the whole floor, or you have a bathroom in your room. So just bring flip-flops just in case, and also kind of be prepared for that. We're going to have to take order if it's on I haven't ever been in one that just has it on the floor. So that's good to know. Just be prepared for that, taking the order of taking showers and things like that. And it's typically kind of easier.
And we kind of got where we would do them like at funny times.
Yeah.
Because like they would all be wanting to do them at the end. So during, was it free time? We would kind of start like getting showers. So
Getting everybody to do a shower. Yes, because there's a lot of students. So we're going to have to organize the shower thing. It won't be perfect, but we'll figure out how to get everybody showered.
And keep up with your stuff. Don't leave it everywhere.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll make tags.
Yes, we will have tags for the organization, and yeah, keeping up with things and putting everything away is the best you can. Keep your stuff on. What we did in our room last year is each girl had a bunk bed, and you put your stuff only on that bunk bed, and your suitcase was underneath your bunk bed or to the side if you were on the top. Like that's where you put all your stuff so it wasn't all scattered, which makes it easy for coming home, but then also and cleaning up. Then we're not losing stuff because it is jammed packed, and so you need to know where your stuff is because then we're moving on to the next thing. So, all right.
All right, I'm next with the cell phone policy, and there is a handout for this. If, Josh, did y'all see the handouts on the table if you came in late? All right, I'm going to just start at the top, and I'm going to read through this, and it says, in the box, biblical principle, 1 Corinthians 10:23, I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. While having a phone isn't wrong, this verse reminds us that true freedom means choosing what is beneficial and constructive. The guidelines below help us steward our phones in a way that strengthens rather than distracts from our relationship with God and one another. And like Ryan was saying at the front, I mean, if you have all summer, to play on your phone but going to church camp, we want to focus on our relationship with God and building relationships with our friends. And so we just have some guidelines here. And then also just that this is fluid, that if we are not following these guidelines, we may just have to collect them all and have the adults hold on to them. So we're going to begin letting everybody have that, but if you abuse this policy, we will be taking them. But number 1 says cell phones are permitted during student ministry events. If a phone becomes a distraction, it will be taken up and kept by the student's designated leader. Number 3, the leader will notify the parent or guardian the same day if a phone is taken up. Each night, phones may be charged and used until lights out at 11:30. After lights out, phones must be turned off or silenced and put away. Another item you may want to add to your packing list is a power strip. Like if you have a phone, if you have a watch, I don't know, a fan, you just kind of run out of plugs real quick. So I take a power strip, that way I can plug all my things in. And just so you can know, the camp doesn't really have great service. I've kind of found, which you will not be doing this, but I kind of found in the middle of the night that I could get on our church page and post pictures. So I would set my alarm for like 2:30 because I don't know why it would work a little bit at that time. But the coverage is not great. It just is not. So if your child maybe is not, you don't feel staying in contact with you, it's quite possibly not their fault either. So we'll try our best if just make sure you communicate that with your child if you're wanting them to touch base with you in the evenings or every other day or something like that. But just make sure we're not having those out during church time, meal times, things when we're sitting around together. Anything to add about that?
And just trust that, we're gonna communicate if there's a problem. We'll find a way to get in communication with you, so if you're not able to get your student, just trust that we're there and we're looking out for them. And we'll do our best to help with that communication, but we would definitely let you know if something goes wrong, for sure. Because I think it does make people nervous.
And maybe if you needed something, like and you felt worried you weren't hearing from your kid, maybe text an adult, and it could be that it's just not going through. It's weird. The service is weird. So just be responsible. Yes. And then just make sure you sign. This is one of the pages that you're going to sign and date and turn in. And if you are going to carry it with you in your bag, just make sure that it's on silented because we don't want that going off in church or anything like that. Just your normal rules that you would follow in school. And FYI, has anybody been watching the news? Because that's a new law of HB 2. That cell phones are now outlawed during instruction time. And I guess they're kind of leaving it up to the school to come up with a policy of how that's going to work for you. But you better start practicing.
Okay, we are getting close. Okay, I'm here for the do's and don'ts. Better be ready. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so do's and don'ts of camps. We've already talked about quite a few things here, and we really just want to reiterate these things. When I was, looking over what I was about to say today, one thing that I wanted to put out there is that we're wanting to build your light for Jesus. And I read something the other day about your light for Jesus and a flashlight, and it got me thinking about camp. And so when a flashlight starts going dim, what do? We refill the battery. We don't throw it away. We don't wait until a new one comes along. We refill the battery, and the light brightens right back up and starts shining again. And to me, that really stood out. Talk to me about camp. That's what camp is really intended to be. Like Ryan said, we're going to go and immerse ourselves in Jesus. We're going to be praising, singing, doing sports. We're going to be doing all those things, and we're there to rekindle our light for Jesus, and maybe for some of us even start our light. So when we're telling you these do's and the don'ts and the things that we do not want you doing, because that's what y'all are going to remember the most, I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. The things that we're wanting from you and the things we're wanting to keep from you, we're doing that so that you can get the best experience at camp. So starting off with the do's, being respectful to leaders, fellow students, and camp staff. The people that are going with you, they're volunteering. The people at the camp, a lot of them are volunteering, and they deserve your respect, and you want them to treat you respectfully, so you need to do the same and be respectful. If you're asked by an adult to do something, that's what you're expected to do. And you're not just representing yourself. You'll be representing your mom and dad in that building, your whole family, the church that you're affiliated with, and the sponsors that are there with you. In addition, you are there to represent Jesus. So we need to go in real strong with our respect. We want you to participate fully in worship, small group events, rec, all those things. I read on another camp, leave your cool at home, and I liked that. You'll find out when you get there. Those of you that have already been, you already know. But this environment is set up for everybody is there to worship. So leave your cool at home. You're not too cool to sing. You're not too cool to do the activities. You're there to jump in with your whole heart and get going. Follow all camp rules and guidelines. Things that are laid out in front of you. We expect you to be following those, and we're going in with that expectation. This is not going to be anything foreign to anybody. You have expectations in church, you have expectations in school, you have expectations in your families. So this is the same thing. I'll give an example. We ask you to never be alone. That isn't because we're mean, and it's not because we're trying to make you have friends. We ask you to never be alone so you'll be safe. So if we find you alone, you will get a reminder that you are not supposed to be alone. If it becomes habitual, then your new best friend will be me or another leader. So you need to kind of think about who you want to hang out with at camp. I'm just saying I'm not very cool. Ask questions and make new friends. If you don't know, that's understandable. If you don't know, especially if it's your first year at camp, if you don't know, ask some questions. Ask somebody that's been there. Ask your leaders. Make new friends. You're going to meet a lot of cool people, and just go there. Again, that's leaving your cool at home. Go there ready to meet some people from other churches, other states. We've met people from Louisiana before, so it's really fun to do. There was something else, yes.
On that. So if you haven't been, well, camps are all different ways. Sometimes when you go to camps, they take your group and they split you. Really, we're with our group everywhere. So don't feel afraid that you're going to have to go somewhere where you don't know anybody. The camp is huge. It's probably like 1,500 people, but it seems small because we're always with our group. We go together to rec. We eat together. We go to worship together. We go to church time together. So we're moving with our group within a big group at camp. So you're never going to be like where you don't know
Right.
an adult or students. Yes.
Okay, and do you think that picked it up for the recording? Okay. I'm like, I don't want to repeat it if we don't have to, but, and the last thing I was gonna say on asking questions, making new friends, there's sponsors there, and we all have kiddos that we're gonna be checking on our group. Like if you're in my group, I'm gonna come up to you daily, I'm gonna do a check-in. How are you feeling? Have you been having fun? What's something you're enjoying? What's something that you're not enjoying? We're going to be checking in with you. And so just be willing to talk with somebody. It may be somebody that you're not fully comfortable with the first day, but hopefully you build a relationship with that person. But be sure you're communicating to your leaders. If you're starting to feel sick, please let us know. We would rather help you when you're starting to feel sick
then you get too sick, and then we have to do things like go to the nurse, go to the hospital. Any little thing, just try to communicate with your leaders. We are there for you to help you. Any more do's before I start the don'ts? Okay. On the don'ts, it's been covered once, but we're going to reiterate it. Do not bring anything inappropriate, clothing or toys or games or firecrackers. Do not bring anything that you should not be taking to church camp. If we see you with these things, we're obviously going to confiscate them. If you bring one swimsuit and it's not appropriate, you won't be going swimming. I just want to be real upfront. You are representing us, and this is an expectation that we're giving you right now. You can use your phones it says do not use your phones during worship, teaching, or small group time. And like she kind of said, it's probably going to be fluid. We would rather you have your Bible to look up your verses. If it's appropriate, they will let you know. Otherwise, when we're studying and we're in the worship hall and all those things, your phone needs to be put away and not distracting you. It says do not sneak off or go anywhere without a leader. You don't go anywhere alone. Your leader needs to know where you are. If we have to go look for you, if we have to have camp personnel help us look for you, it's not going to be a fun evening. Be sure that your sponsors know where you are. If it's not, if you're a guy and you can't find Ty, find one of us ladies and let us know where you are so that we're not searching for you. If you're feeling sick and you don't think you can make it to dinner, you need to let us know that you're not making it to dinner. We need to have communication and know where you are. Do not get off by yourself. Do not disrespect your leaders, break curfew. Do not go hiking on trails. Do not go hiking off the trails. Stay on your trails and do not go alone. There are bears. There are bears. There are hungry bears. There's probably snakes, all different kinds of things up there. So we do not want you getting off the trails and going on an adventure. Definitely not alone. We want you to stay together. They do have trails. They're very pleasant and great trails. Just stay on them, okay? Then the last, but definitely not the least. This is, do not break the no purple rule. And I get to enjoy it? No, I'm just joking. Pre-K's going to teach you about it. Okay, it says here, boys are blue and girls are pink. Do not make purple. Should I elaborate? No. Yes, leave room for Jesus, whatever it is. No one-on-one boy and girl only hangouts. Girls are not allowed in boys' dorms. Boys are not allowed in girls' dorms. That's our girls. It's any girls. It's the Dallas girls. It doesn't matter. You're not allowed in there. Those are camp rules. Those are church rules. Please do not be breaking that rule. We're more than happy for you to be in your groups, studying together, go swimming together, go hiking together, but not one-on-one. And I think we know what's appropriate and what is not appropriate, but if we need to expand that, we can when we're there. And the same thing goes, as if we find you off by yourselves, there will be some kind of consequence because it's not appropriate and it's not allowed. And so I would not want my mom to drive 4.5 hours to get me. So you might keep that in mind. I have one last do not. I think this goes across the board. We want to leave our camp, our rooms, our sanctuary pews, our study rooms, wherever we are, we want to leave it the way we found it or better. And this goes for our dorm rooms. If you're playing around and you damage something, a leader needs to know so that it can be fixed. If you make a huge mess, you spill Coke, your friend accidentally falls through a bunk bed, I don't know. Things happen. But you need to let a leader know so that when we check out to come home, it's the way we found it or in better condition. It's not really about being in trouble. It's really about the hospitality that they extend to us. We need to be respectful of. Any things I forgot? Oh, yes. Do take a shower and do wear deodorant. And we will check every day. Yes. That's part of the check-in. Whenever your leader's checking in with you, if they bring it up, there's probably a reason they're bringing it up. So find a shower on occasion. Definitely bring deodorant. Axe spray does not replace soap. Yeah, or the lake that's fishy, because it is kind of fishy. Okay. And do come to have fun.
Perfect. Thank y'all guys for sharing all the rules and stuff. There's a lot of rules, and obviously there's going to be questions. So I want to open the floor up right now to any Q&A. If you have a question and you want something cleared up, ask it. And if you can't think of something or you think of something later, shoot us a text, group me it. We'll answer it. We'll say, this is my 5th year going to this camp. I've seen it happen. That's why we have a lot of rules in place by experience. So, any questions? Yes. The one they just finished. If that makes it easier? Yeah, that's just all good. Yeah, switch up. Maybe the one they're going into, because I think that's the way the camp. Yeah, he's fine. He went to adulthood. He's fine. Yeah, I know. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So what we've done it in the past is I carry Tylenol, I carry Advil, and I'm sure all the ladies do as well. The nurses, if you registered, they have you a checklist, and they said antacids, Tylenol, ibuprofen. If you checked all those, the nurses can give those without any problem. So we're good. Yes. Yeah. I understand. 100%. Anything else? What was the question? 3? 3? 2 or 3? Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. 6, 7.
A bath towel, lake towel, if you want to use it at the same time, or if you want like 2 of each.
So, for my kids, they have one to dry their hair, then the other one to dry their body. So that's 2, and that's at home. So I don't know. So it's up to y'all. However many you think you want to do. Yeah. There's no.
Don't bring 15.
15. Yeah. Washcloth, if you really want to scrub your skin, washcloths are great. Anything else?
And we'll have probably like general first aid things.
Yes.
Band-Aids.
Like I said, I have a very extensive first aid kit that I always take with us. We used it last year a few times. Well, I'm sure it's.
I had stuff in my backpack.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. So last year, just to cover kind of what happens in a emergency event, one of our kids ended up having seizures. Immediately, we got the nurse. The nurse gets. The nurses they're paramedics, firefighters. They have them there at camp. They're always in the sanctuary, or they have a specific spot at camp all the time. The nurses ended up getting with her, got her calmed down enough. They had the AED ready for her. Thankfully, we didn't have to use AED. But in that event, they called paramedics or an ambulance right then, and she got evaluated. We ended up having to take her to the ER the final night of camp. And that's the event. We've got a lot of sponsors to help with that. So in the event that occurs, you parents are my first phone call. You'll be called while the paramedics are evaluating. I was sitting there on the call. I was calling mom. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. Just to let you know, put her on speaker, let the paramedics talk to her. You will be the first call. There's no doubt there because you are the parents, and if with roles reversed, I want to be called right then and there. Yes, ma'am. Altitude sickness, okay. Yep. So the reason we put a lot of emphasis, or Bailey put a lot of emphasis on water and electrolytes, the altitude change is a little bit higher than here, a lot higher than here. And your headache will hurt. Your head will hurt because of the altitude, and you'll get dehydrated because of the altitude change. To combat that, a lot of water. A lot of water. Yeah, sodas. So the one rule of thumb, if you drink a soda, you're immediately dehydrated. That's a thing I've learned when running, that if I'm drinking water, Gatorade's, electrolytes, I'm good. If I drink one soda, now I'm starting to dehydrate my body. So keep that in mind. That's why we probably may not take any sodas. We'll probably be taking waters and Gatorades. But just keep that in mind. A lot of water. It's all hand.
And I have another comment. And just make sure you're eating at every meal.
Oh, that's a good point.
Having snacks, because that's part of altitude sickness. If we're hiking a lot, like we're getting lots of steps, so you need your energy and your nutrition. So eat. Like nobody's gonna be on a diet that week.
Well, and if you're gluten-free and you filled out your paper, the cafeteria will make accommodations for you. But the meals are good. They always have a salad bar. They have cereal, fruit. So there should be something that you will enjoy.
We had that issue one time. Out. So she had to go to the nurse, and it was a thing. So.
Sure. Yeah. It's camp food, but it's good camp food. Yeah. If we were to backpack in somewhere, my food's going to be terrible compared to this food, right? It's good. It's edible. I've enjoyed it. Anything else before? Like I said, if you think of something, you need further instructions or whichever, reach out to one of us. Put it in a group me chat. Yes, sir. So this whole last week, I think it's rained all up through New Mexico. So I think we're in for a treat. I think we're gonna. The years past has been pretty dry with the occasional showers here and there. So it just depends. If it rains a little bit, it might be just a humid, but it hasn't been miserable.
And y'all, you're about to have like the best week of your life. Don't let these rules scare you. We just have to say them so that you heard it. But it is so much fun.
Yeah, and it's 4 days of awesome amount of fun and awesome amount of learning. We'll have great discussion time. Each day we get to meet as a church. I think it's 2 times a day. So we'll get to meet and discuss and just kind of pick apart the morning worship and the evening worship and just help us understand and grow together. Any other thing? Well, perfect, guys. So here in a minute we'll break, and Bailey's going to go to the back. And make sure you find her, because she has some really awesome camp shirts for us. The camp shirts, it said King Jesus across the front, and there's a whole lot of different things on the back of these shirts. I'm a sucker for themes, so I tend to pick a theme for camp. It helps me focus in on one little aspect just to keep my brain focused, and it'll help you guys as well, because we're going all over the place with so much stuff going on at camp. If we can come back in and focus at one thing, that'll help us. Help us kind of bring our thoughts and all of our ideas and all of our questions back into a group. And the theme this year that we picked is it's from John 4:28. And this verse says, then leaving her water jug, the woman went back to town and to tell all the people. And within this story, if you look in your Bibles, chapter 4, it's going to say the Samaritan woman or the woman at the well. You've seen this picture. You may have an image in your head, but at the bottom of our T-shirts, there's an image of a woman running away from the well, but you see her bucket next to the well. So just to recap that story real quick, Jesus was on his way to Samaria, which is not the exactly most popular route for Jesus to go to on the way back to Jerusalem, but he had a very divine appointment then. At that well, in the middle of the day, if you've ever been in a desert area in the Middle East, it's hot. It's like the very first of August type of heat, but dry. It's miserably hot. But for whatever reason, the Samaritan woman, with a whole complicated past, was going out to get water in midday. That's something women would do back in biblical times in the morning. They would go get water to take back home, to knead bread and whichever. But she was doing it in the middle of the day. She came expecting nothing more than just water. But Jesus didn't avoid her. He spoke to her. He saw her. He knew her story. And he also offered something greater. Jesus tells her, I can give you living water. He tells her that this well, you can't get that from here. Your bucket, it can't hold this. Then together they talked about the truth. They talked about worship and the coming Messiah. And she knew somebody was supposed to be coming. But then he revealed something very plainly to her. Jesus says, I am he. Jesus showed her that even though she was broken, she was invited. Even though she was overlooked, she was seen. And even though she was rejected, Jesus chose her. So then comes our verse 28. That's our camp theme. It says, then, leaving her water jug, the woman went back to town and told the people of who she found. She left something behind. She left the sole purpose of why she came out to that well behind her. She came for water, but she left with a fire. The bucket represents her burdens, the shame, the routine, all those distractions. But after meeting Jesus, she had no use for it. She dropped what she thought she needed and ran to tell everybody that the one has come to change everything. Her encounter with Christ replaced her routine with a revival and replaced her bucket with boldness. So within this story, her bucket for her represented her shame, her sin, distractions, the comfort zones, fear, approval of others, and the lies that we kind of believe about yourself. And the Samaritan woman didn't try to carry her old life into that new purpose. She let it go. She left it. She left it there at the feet of Jesus. So to give you a little bit of perspective here, the water wells in the Bible weren't just always about water. Through the Old Testament in Genesis 24, Rebekah met Abraham's servant at a well, and she later became Isaac's wife. In Genesis 29, Jacob met Rachel at a well, and they got married. And then Exodus chapter 2, Moses meets his wife at a well near Mount Sinai. So ladies, let me just say this. Stay away from water fountains. And guys, don't be creepy. So you never know who you're going to meet. That's what the whole purpose is. The water wells are just this amazing thing that the Bible uses. So I want you to experience God. At camp, yes. But I also want you to experience God now, before camp. But I want you to really experience him. But to do so, you got to drop the bucket. You got to leave the drama, the distractions, sin, fear, the pressure, and the past. You can't carry the fire of God if your hands are still full of the bucket. So here's my heart for you. I want you to see God. I want you to experience his goodness. I want you to know his peace, his joy, his purpose for your life. So when camp comes, you show up. You might be spiritually dry, but you show up with a heart that's ready and has a little bit of fire ready to go. And that's something you can do today. That's something you can do 2 weeks before camp. So when you get to camp and you already have a little bit of fire burning, everything you learn at camp is going to help you build that foundation and keep that fire burning. And getting to that point, you have 2 weeks before camp. It's hard to get there. It's hard to get that fire burning if it's been extinguished or you really never had that fire burning in the first place. That's why I'm here. That's why these leaders have graciously chosen to come with you Because yes, 2 weeks before camp, you have our numbers. If you need help getting going, if you need somebody to help pour into you, to walk beside you, we can do that. And parents, I'm not leaving you out. This quick little devotional, this quick little theme isn't just for our students. It's for you too. You're your teenager's biggest disciple maker. You see them way more than I will ever see them. You get to see them on their best days and their hardest days. But I want you to know, we as leaders are here for you too. You have the greatest and one of the hardest jobs. But also I want to tell you, parents, you're not alone. So once again, we as leaders, we want to walk beside you. We want to help you raise your students as Christians, as followers of Christ. At the end, we're all chasing after Jesus to build a very faithful legacy. And that's what this camp does for us. It helps us as leaders pour into your kids, and then also pour into you as parents. And I don't want to see just the flame extinguished right after camp. I want to keep building that fire so we can continue this journey together, because the journey doesn't stop until we get to go see Christ in heaven. So it's a long journey. It's an awesome journey. But I'm so excited for camp with this big group, because I get to see so many of your faces. I get to hang out with you for 4 days. You're going to get tired of me talking, and that's okay. I get tired of listening to me too. Like right now, everybody's tired of it. You're like, dude, shut up. But, all right, I'll stop talking. Like I said, if you have questions, I'm here until you all leave. We're all here until then as well. Don't forget your t-shirt.
Is the t-shirt, the orange on the
Yes.
second day, that's what we're gonna wear?
First full day. First full day.
First full day of camp.
Travel wherever you want, something comfy, and then the first day when they're
Full day, that's your orange.
Up here. If you have your sign sheets, hand it to one of the leaders, and we'll get it in our pile. Cool. Let me pray real quick, and we'll get out of here. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for this awesome meeting. Thank you for some awesome parents and awesome students who all get to go experience camp life. But God, we pray over what we get to experience, what we get to learn at camp. God, I pray that we get to hear your word preached like we've never heard it before. We get to hear your word sang like we've never heard it sang before. God, I'm grateful that you put me in this position that I get to come and worship with an awesome group of kids. God, I pray for the next 2 weeks that we get to start a fire in our lives. And then when we get to go to camp, we get to build that fire. God, I pray for every one of these students that get to go to camp, to get to go experience you in this type of way. God, just be with us. Be with us as we continue, we finish our plans. God, we're just grateful for everything you've led us to do. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.